Executive Director for Parkesburg Point, and thank you so much for being here today. This is the grand opening of the John Gillen Memorial Skate Park. It's been about 5 years, actually more like 4, but it's been a while. And I want to just tell you a little bit about the Point. We are here because we want to celebrate the life of John. We want to celebrate the work of the Point. We want to celebrate a unique community. And so in 2003, the Point started. It was the vision of several churches that wanted to offer the young people an opportunity to engage the gospel, which for us means hope. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. We wanted all the kids in the community to always have that hope. We wanted to plant that seed. And so it was interesting, as this planning committee came together, what would draw the kids? And it was simple. And we were just in a warehouse down the road, food. And at that time, all we had was hot dogs. It was fun, but what would fun look like? Basketball was going to be one, but the other one was skateboarding. And it was really important for us because there was no outdoor skate park in the area, in the region. But you would think so because you had all these guys outside skating down the streets, getting chased by the cops, skating at the warehouses and getting in trouble. And Judge Gillen can tell you, probably gave a lot of community service for those guys. But we wanted to be the safe place for these kids, right? And we wanted these kids to know that you're not a threat to us. We're just going to give you a positive way of expressing this love of your skateboarding. So I'll be honest, we opened up in 2003. And though we had a basketball court, the main attraction was that indoor skate park. As we grew and were blessed, we wanted to expand the vision of this ministry and put it in a facility that allowed us to make it happen. We wanted to develop kids, not just give them a safe environment, but take them to and through college. In order to do it, we needed a better facility. God blessed us. We were supported tremendously by the county, and we were able to purchase and renovate this entire, which used to be a grocery store. Part of that vision, though, is that we wanted to have an outdoor skate park. The funds weren't yet there to make that happen, so we realized we had to do 3 things. Phase 1 would be this recreation center, with the gym and an indoor skate park as a stopgap before we would be able to build an outdoor skate park. But in that time, we realized that we were losing some of our skateboarders. Many of them had passed away. Some of them, of course, all tragedies. These were our boys. These were our children. And we saw the opioid crisis really impacting our community. So something happened. We saw people tending to blame these kids. We saw that it became a scourge in our community of these children that we knew. We saw them skate. We saw them fall and get up. We saw them cry and then get back out there and skate. We saw their parents. We knew the love the parents had to them. And so before the community started to realize that this was really a health issue, and many of our children were being victimized by these drugs, they were being blamed. And we took a different view because one of the basic beliefs of the Point is that these children are God's children. They're made in his image. We loved them, and we saw them pray. They prayed with us. We prayed with them. We saw them raise their hand, and John was one of those kids. We saw John teaching little kids how to skateboard, so we knew John. And so I felt, just by the guiding of God's Spirit, that this outdoor skate park should be a memorial for that young man, because we wanted to send the message out. These are our children. We'll not forget them, and their lives will have an impact. Well, we were robbed of them, their lives will have an impact. I'm a preacher, and so I'm always dreaming, but I never had the means to do anything, right? And so, in order for this to happen, we needed the community to get together. I talked to Betsy and Soccer, and they were moved by the gesture, and so we decided, let's get together. And so in 2015, we had some people join us, made some commitments to support this and fund this. Again, I'm a preacher, so I don't know anything about development. I don't know the cost. And so year after year, we were trying to make this happen, but we were struggling because financially, we really didn't know what it would cost. 2, we didn't know the scope of what we had to do. And so if you even look outside, many of you drove into a really nice parking lot. We can tell you it wasn't like that before. But that became part of the project. And then we said, we can't forget the basketball players. And so that became a part of the project. So the project grew, and the needs and the funds that needed to make it happen grew. That wasn't it. We needed the right person on board to make it happen. So in 2018, the Point was blessed to hire Bud Herman. And I'm going to have Bud share a little bit. And you just need the right people. What I was struggling to do over 4 years, Bud came on board and did in less than one. Right? And we had donors, many of you are here, that made some significant contributions to this project. We as an organization realized quickly that a lot of people don't like to give to parking lots. And so that became a challenge, but we had some very generous donors in our board, and just the community made it happen. But I want to read a verse, and then I'll have Bud. So my church right now, we're in the book of Ruth. And Ruth is a story of a woman, Naomi, who lost her husband and 2 sons. And came back home to her home country, home community. She was hurting, she was broken, she was bitter. And she thought that God forgot her. And then some things happened miraculously where someone came and was there to support her and her family. And this was her response. She says this about God. He has not stopped showing his kindness to the living, her, and to the dead, which was her husband and her sons. And so I want to know, what does she mean by that? He hasn't stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead. I started thinking, how many of us in our times of trial and difficulties cry out to God? And we often cry out to him, asking him to save us from this present pain and suffering. And we know sometimes we succumb. But you know what? I think he still heard those prayers. And I can imagine Ruth, her husband, Naomi's husband, and her boys were praying and talking, saying, Mom, honey, things are going to be good. And when it gets better, these are all the things we're going to do. I think John prayed that prayer. God, deliver me from this. And he has some ups, he has some downs. And God, when you deliver me, I'm going to help others. Every single one I've met that suffered from the disease of drug addiction, their hope is that they can help others overcome once they're free. I'm sure that was his prayer. But unfortunately, we don't always get delivered the way we want to be delivered. But he said he's kind to the living and the dead. And I see now how he's being kind to Betsy and soccer and John, because his life will have an impact on many lives to come. Believe it or not, the Point plans to be here for a long time, right? Upper Rock River Church is celebrating, I think, how many years?
300 next year.
300 years. That's what God can do. He can create something small, and they can stand the test of time because it's good. And we know that this name of John Gillen will be remembered when I'm gone. I'm already getting great. But it will. And so I thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support, for making this happen. I thank you for believing in the Point that when we have a vision, the community comes around and makes it happen. But personally, it didn't happen because of my abilities. It happened because God continues to bless us to bring the right people. We have a program director, Nancy. I don't think she's around. She's the one with the vision for the program. How are we going to use skateboarding and basketball and all this stuff? But then we need someone to make it happen in the facility. And God has tremendously blessed us with Bud, but I can't thank you enough for taking phase 2 and phase
To be here. It's just an awesome and amazing opportunity to be able to use the gifts and talents that God has given to help this community, these kids. And I've always had a heart for working with kids, and I've been blessed to be able to be involved in building designs and construction industry and bringing that all together and being able to volunteer here for many years, and then Wayne saying, "Would you like to come to work for kids to see phase 2, phase 3, as Wayne called it, come to fruition, and for us to be able to start using these programs to reach even more kids. So I'm blessed, and I'm just so excited to see this happening, and just really looking forward to what God is going to do. We have an amazing team here at the Point, and God just continues to bless us by bringing the right people, as Wayne said, the right people at the right time, and using us to reach these kids. So just continue to pray for us. That's what we need, and just continue to pray that God brings the kids for us to minister to as well. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah, any project has some very important pieces to it. You might.
We've envisioned this to be a fun, Christian-based environment that will offer education, support, and a safe haven where kids like John are encouraged to live a drug-free lifestyle, giving them great hope for a successful future. I am humbled by kindness and generosity that this is being dedicated in memory of John. I'm also humbled by the turnout here today. And I'd like to thank each one of you for attending our grand opening. Would John's friends please raise their hand? Would you mind coming up? I told Jackie she could come. These are the kids who rode bikes in our driveway, played games, and carved pumpkins together. These are the kids that showed up to skate on Friday night and didn't leave till Sunday. These are the kids who ate many dinners at our table, prayed with us, and ate beets because they had to try them. These are the kids who I cooked spaghetti burritos for at 1 a.m. These are the kids who loved our house because it was a home. These are the kids that went on vacations with us and became part of our family. These are the kids that if they wanted to talk, we listened. These are the kids that are now young adults and still come to visit. These are the young adults that are so special to us and are now including us in their most important life events. So to all of you and us, we are truly blessed. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for that. And, there's one thing that we tell our board and just our staff that we've been around for 16 years. So some of these kids that started at 15, they're now 30. They're older than me now. And you see them still supporting the family. And they came just to skate. And kids make bad choices, right? Our children do. And I don't think their bad choices should be a death sentence. We need to support them. We need to love them. We need to fight for them. And Messi, you fight. Soccer, you fight. Thank you. I'm going to ask Commissioner Kit Klein and Pharrell to come up and share some words. Thank you so much for being here.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Michelle Kickline, and I'm here with Terrence Farrell. Thank you so much for inviting us. This is such a special place in Chester County, this building, this community. I often say, having grown up in Chester County and coming back here and raising my own family here, there's something wonderful about it, and this is an example of it. This is a community. This is moms, dads, grandparents, kids. We come together. Not every day is a happy day. Not every day is an easy day. But but at the end of the day, we all love each other. And I think this is really one of the last places that's really special, because organizations like Casey's Cause they grow out of really difficult times. And I think it's so important, the symbol of the flower. Often, plants, flowers, they grow out of dirt, but they're nurtured and they're lovely. And this opioid addiction, heroin, now the fentanyl, it's not going away. It isn't. But we need organizations like this, we need people like you to keep working in our schools, our churches. We need to be the front lines. It's not going to be easy. And every day I hear another story. I hear another family that's been touched. Old, young, rich, poor, it doesn't matter. This is something that we at the county level have put significant resources behind and continue to do that. And I just, I spent a few moments before I sat down looking at John's skateboard and all the comments that the children wrote about their love for him. A little boy talked about how he showed him how to ride for the first time. And I thought, that's a special person. And it isn't his fault. And we have to educate people. This is a disease. And we've got, we are such a big, wealthy country and a big, wealthy county. And why is this stuff still so accessible? Why is it out there? What can we do to stop this? I don't have an answer today, but I will tell you, and I've committed the last 4 years of my life working with folks like you, and I will continue to do this, because it's a complex, difficult issue. We're making some small steps. Every day is a small step, but we've got a long road to go. And on a happier event, I did take a look. I took a peek at the park, and it looks really fun. So maybe someday I'll come out and try it with a helmet on and a few knee pads, but it looks like a lot of fun. So thank you for your it's really great.
County commissioners, your 3 county commissioners, and first of all, I want to say my condolences, Betsy. It's the hardest thing in the world to lose a child. We all expect to outlive our children, and I have 2 grown sons and 2 grandchildren, and I pray for them every day, because there's a lot of threats and evil in the world. But I'm glad to see all of you here, actually listening to Pastor Walton. I know that I'm in church, and every day I actually look for the presence of God. A couple days ago, I was coming back at night, and the deer was in the middle of the road looking at me like, what are you doing in my road? I had the thumb on the horn, hit the horn, the deer went the right way, I went the other way and went around him, and I'm here. And I saw God. And I was in Philadelphia the other day with Michelle, and unlike some of the streets in Westchester, I was crossing the street there and a pothole this big, and I tripped and started stumbling to catch myself, and got to the curb, and there was a guy strong enough to hold me up. I saw God there. And I see, feel, and hear God here today. The county has been involved with the Point for many years, in many different ways. And as Michelle said, it's a tremendous organization, bringing hope to the community, bringing hope to Parkesburg, bringing hope to many of the kids here. So we're very pleased to stand with you today. The county does a lot. Michelle, I want to single out for actually bringing a program to Chester County 4 years ago when she first ran, realizing the scourge of the opioid crisis, the deaths. 112 people died of opioid overdoses last year in Chester County alone. When Michelle came, she said, we got to do something. And so she came up with the idea of holding a color run every year to raise money so that when kids, older folks overdose and they go to the hospital, someone actually meets them there to try and get them into recovery. And whether or not they have money, the Color Run has raised over $200,000 in the past 4 years to get these folks into recovery right away. And I will say there was a story of a guy that worked with Bam Margera on his show, and he was addicted. He actually hit rock bottom. His name was Brandon Novak. And he said that at a Rock for Recovery concert on Westchester University, where they're trying to raise additional funds for this coke program, warm handoff program, he said 4 years ago, he was in a Baltimore hospital. He woke up, he was on life support. He had overdosed that bad. His mom was there. His mom had protection from abuse or restraining order. He couldn't come in the house because she was just tired of it. She couldn't